Hi everyone, and welcome again to another episode of the Msingi Talks podcast. Today it is my highest honor to be in conversation with Reverend Timothy Njoya, who is many things in life, but I would like him to introduce himself to us. For me, as I said, is a great honor. He's one of the people who have influenced the work that I do. I have grown up hearing, listening, and watching him. And I learn every day from what he writes, what he says, and who he continues to be. So, karibu sana, Reverend, and thank you so much for saying yes to this conversation.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So you can introduce yourself to us.
Okay. Timothy Njoya, and I love this time, Carol, you have visited me. I was born in 1941. I'm a house husband now because I retired in 2001. And as a house husband, I used to be a father. Mm-hmm. And I loved my fatherhood because my children were my greatest comrades. Mm. Sometimes they become comrades in arms in the trenches.
Yes.
And that's very rare for parents and fathers, for parents and children to be in the same trenches. Mm-hmm. But my case is very, very unique.
Yes.
So I love, and this is my station.
Yes.
Where when I retired as a house husband, housewives are the ones who look after cattle in Kenya.
Yes.
Cultivate coffee, tea, and the other economic bulwark. Mm-hmm. And people think to be a housewife is to be useless. Mm. But they are they produce more than 50 or 60% of the Kenyan economy, being a housewife.
Yes.
So since I retired, you can see all these books.
Yes.
More than 10.
Yes.
I have produced as a house husband. So I still work. That's why you see me in a library. Mm-hmm. Because you cannot write a book unless you footnote.
Yes.
Almost every page to show you have authority.
Yes.
You have what you are saying. Even if you are not quoting another book, what you are saying, you like saying that so-and-so had the same idea. Mm-hmm. I'm following this way. I'm not distinct from Plato's philosophy or anyone else.
All right.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm a house husband, but still read every day and write every day. Yeah.
So we'll come back to the books and some of the books that you've written, and I'd like you to showcase them. So at the beginning of every podcast that we do, I ask a question. Two things. What brings you joy, deep joy? And then what is the other thing that brings you deep sorrow?
Okay. I enjoy eating good food.
Yes.
Because I want to remain alive 109 years. And I hear from nuggets of life. First one is food.
Yes.
The second one is exercise.
Okay.
I like to walk and do exercise, skip. You have seen that. Mm-hmm. And I like to then, the third one of the nuggets of life, that's about according to World Health Organizations.
Yes.
Is that I like to go to church for worship, relations, contact. I like civil society. I work with it.
Okay.
I like not only going to church, civil society, I like interacting with the whole Kenya community.
Yes.
And through that, by extension, the world community. So I enjoy most being able to interact, not more than food and exercise.
Yes. All right. And we won't say that we talked about the three other things that bring people joy.
When I used to talk about that.
Yes.
But still, I enjoy everything. I'm shy.
Yes.
I'm a very shy man.
Okay.
Especially before a girl like you. I must be shy.
You must be shy.
Yes.
All right. And then what brings you sorrow?
I am sorrowful most if I see oppression, domination,
Yeah.
exploitation, corruption,
Yeah.
authoritarianism. Of course, when I see people reducing each other to lesser than they are, because God made us all equal in his likeness.
Yes.
And he commanded us, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
When I see people don't obey the commandment, but they want to be loved, but they are not reciprocating.
Yes.
They are not responding in kind.
Yeah.
They are not doing to others what they want to done to them. So in that way, that give me most sorrow to see that the people are deviating from being human, from dignity,
Yes.
and from their likeness with God. When I see like that, even Jesus Christ came and died to redeem people from that kind of life.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And in fact, his political manifesto is very easy.
Yes.
He says, the Spirit is upon me to free captives.
Yes. Luke chapter 4.
Yes.
Luke 4.
To look for the lost.
Yes.
Feed the hungry.
Yes.
And redeem them, redeem the oppressed.
Yes.
And I think my manifesto is like that of Jesus Christ.
And I think that is in Luke chapter 4, 24 to 26.
No, verse 18.
Verse 18.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So one of my earliest memories I was sharing with you as we were going around your beautiful home. One of my earliest memories of you was on the news. And that was in 1992. I think 92, yes. And I remember you preaching, and then also I remember you in protests and the police on your case, very, very painfully beating you up as you were part of the protesters. What took you to the streets?
I went to the street to communicate.
Yes.
To drive the point home, not to the government or anybody else, but to tell Kenyans to reclaim their sovereignty. Kenyans must reclaim their God-given sovereignty, which means freedom of expression, freedom of speech,
Yeah.
which means freedom to acquire means of existence.
Yes.
And the freedom to relate with whoever you want without discrimination. And they need freedom to determine their own life,
Yes.
their own future. And I was doing that, demonstrating that. Even myself, being human, I have a right to reclaim my God-given rights. The primary one, that of being his likeness. Yes.
Yeah. Yet a lot of people, I've had a few conversations with young people and Christians who tell me that the church does not belong to the streets in demonstrations, or who tell me that there's that the primary role of the reverend, of the pastor, is to preach.
They don't know the church because they are not theologians.
Yes.
Primarily,
Yes.
the church is our relationship with God. How because the commandment says, love the Lord your God, God with all your heart and mind and soul and energy.
Yes.
And also your neighbor as yourself. How we relate with God is how we relate with one another. So the church is faith. And faith is our relationship with God and one another. Our, not mine.
Yes.
Because you cannot relate with yourself. You cannot relate with God and the others.
Yes.
So they don't know what the definition of faith, those people talk. The church is made of that relationship.
Yes.
Between us and God and one another. We relate with each other the way we relate with God because God is our standard.
Yes.
Then the other definition of the church is that once to love one another, you need an institution by which in which you are continually relating and you are caring for the others. And the church becomes, and that institutional level, they are talking about the institution. They are not talking about faith.
Yes.
They have completely forgotten faith.
Yes.
To talk of the church as the institution. The institution can be corrupted, subverted.
Yes.
But you cannot corrupt faith.
Yes.
Faith is in God.
Yeah.
And God is always God.
Yeah.
And human beings are always human. When you relate with God, you are truly human. So I'm saying, I remember I went to the University of Edinburgh, and I was asked, Njoya, what is faith? They were very shocked to hear how short the definition is.
Yes.
Faith is not a belief.
Yes.
That's the Greek a way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's a belief, an abstract. Faith is our relationship with one
another
and with God. And they couldn't find anything else in the Bible other than the first church community was how people from the Greeks, the Libyans, the people from all the world at Pentecost, they came and they became related. They started hearing one another and relating one another. That's the beginning of the church.
Yeah.
The church was born at Pentecost. That church which was born on Pentecost was based on faith, not as an institution. But the church, in order to be able to communicate the faith, to send missionaries to all over the world, build schools to educate others, feed people, needs to establish itself in a way that can do that. Not when you are not doing it, others are doing it on your behalf because you may be looking for money, for food, others are feeding. So in that way, you institutionalize your faith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have no faith to institutionalize and you belong to the church, you belong to the wrong thing. Yes.
All right. So I struggle with institutions and institutionalism.
Yeah.
Because I feel they restrict people.
The same with me.
Yes. I struggle with following procedures and rules and all of that. What do we gain from what has been gained from institutionalizing the church and what has been lost?
Oh, institutions tend to lose purpose, origin. We are not there because we are Kikuyu or Ruo or Kalenjin.
Yes.
Biologically.
Yes.
Because now we are being natural like any other animal. When you call yourself a Kikuyu, you are saying I'm a beast. Or when you say you are Kalenjin like him, because you can only be driven genetically motivated by those people who are like-minded, who are Kalenjin or Kikuyu. But I'm saying what to be faith relates us on the basis of how we relate with God, not how we relate with Kikuyu or Ruo or white or black. That will bring segregation, apartheid. That will bring not only apartheid, it will bring war.
Yes.
Competing for resources we should be sharing. Competing for fellowship we should be sharing. Instead of fellowship, we have conflict. You know, instead of love, we have conflict.
Yeah.
Because we are competing, not fellowshipping, not relating. The church, when it degenerates to being parochial, it lacks pluralism. We declared our Kenya, we want our constitution to be all inclusive,
yes,
pluralistic, accommodate diversity, our identities, all of us. But itself is accommodated identity, but it has nothing to do with any of the identities. We accommodate Asian, Arabic, Muslim, Buddhist, all these identities. But we are not one of them.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
If then Kenya thinks that you can only hire people or work with the people because they belong to your identity, then you are mistaking that the Constitution does not put priority on any identity, female or male,
yes,
white or black. but it protects and accommodates and allows all of them and gives equal. Let me put it this clearly. And I want to state that with you.
Yes.
And I want to say after me.
Yes.
The ground beneath the cross is level for all.
Oh, the ground beneath the cross is level for all.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
When you come to the cross,
Yes.
the ground becomes level for
all.
For all.
Yes.
In that way, when the institution becomes an even level.
Yes. It becomes...
Or an equal level.
Yes.
For women, for men, all that.
Yes.
Then it's no longer the body of Christ.
But we see, and I want to connect this with some of the latest statistics from the 2019 census showed that Kenya is 85% Christian.
Yeah.
In terms of the conversation that we are having right now on inequality and tribalism and all of that, and even beyond that, what does that statistic of Kenya being 85% Christian mean for you? Or what emotion does it invoke in you?
They are fake Christians, not Christians.
Yes.
Because you are Christ. If they are Christians, they should be Christ-like.
Yes.
Christ died to make the level ground for all. He came here to restore back the human likeness with God.
Yes.
And human likeness with God means relating with each other the way God relates with us.
Yes.
Like children we are sisters and brothers.
Yes.
What does it mean to call you my sister? It means that before our mother and our father, we are one.
Yes.
And equal.
Yes.
That's why we are sisters and brothers. We are saying that we are all equal. That's why revival people we say brothers and sisters.
Yes.
In the Lord.
Yes.
Meaning that nobody is more equal than
the other.
All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. That's
Shamba la wanyama. Yes.
That's not Christian. So to say that Kenya is 95 Christian. 85%.
Yeah.
And there's discrimination.
Yes.
There's segregation.
Yes.
There is selfishness. There is corruption.
Yes.
You are saying that these people are fake Christians. Yes.
All right. And
not all of them.
Yes.
But you can say some of them are fake Christians.
Some of them are. But we see, especially around elections and around, and even this current government, it mobilized along Christianity. When you saw that, what did that, and there was endorsement, quite a heavy endorsement from the church pulpits. What
they were against me because I was for the constitution. They were saying because they were talking about gender.
Yes.
Women. We are accepting gay. We are accepting Muslims to bring chief card court. Even in Bomas, I refuse that. You see, one thing you may want to know is that in this constitution, even in the preamble,
yes,
we accept the equality of all Kenyans.
Yes.
All human beings are equal in everything, the level ground. You see, what we are saying that when we vote and mobilize people on the basis of factionalism,
yes,
of ethnicity or religion, and we say it's because we are Christian. If you came to Keno or to Dagoretti, Pari, Edima,
yes,
you'll find people there, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Kina David Araba, you know them, Kina Murogi, who was a Catholic, Kiraito, came to Dagoretti many times. If you came to you see William Tuga in my church, even in Keno, you see he's a Muslim.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I went to see his son when he was in hospital, but he died.
Yes.
And I said, I'm going to see him with some elders from Keno on Thursday to show even the elders care for William Tuga as a member of Keno. Yet he is still Muslims.
Yes.
Last month, I went to preach at the Amsterdam, Adams Arcade Mosque.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, this one over here.
Yes, I was invited to the mosque to preach.
Oh, nice.
Yes, for the whole afternoon. And I enjoyed.
Yes.
I told them, look at they wanted to know what I think about the Palestinians and the war in the Middle East. I told them, look here. Israel, what we are calling Israel is not Israel, it's Jude. It's the Jews. Jews means one tribe called Judah.
Yes.
Yes. The 10 tribes of the north separated from.
Yes.
Those we call Palestinians today.
Yes. Yeah.
So the Palestinians are the majority of the Israelites.
Yes.
This we are calling the Muslim Israel started in 1948.
Yes, after that, during the Nakba.
Yeah. They were using the word Israel, but for Judaism now.
Yes.
Instead of calling them the kingdom of Judah, they wanted to say it was the kingdom of Judah which went to Babylon. You understand?
Yes.
In 7.
When they went to exile.
In 658 BC.
Yes.
The other one, northern Israel, went to exile in 721 BC. When these went, the one who were became captive of the Assyrians, did not be taken physically away to Syria. They remained in Samaria. And the Jews went to Babylon for 70 years and returned back to Jerusalem, empowered by King Cyrus, now to colonize and oppress the Samaritans, the Jews, the Israelites in Samaria. And even in Jesus' time, the Jews had so much contempt on the Israelites, dear Israelites, that they could not go through Samaria.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
They could not pass through there.
Yes.
They were too dirty for the Jews, their brothers and sisters, because they didn't want to be oppressed.
Yeah.
You get me? And even Jesus giving the parable of the Good Samaritan. Why? Because they were considered bad.
Yes.
Meaning, when a Jew was killed on the road to Damascus, on the road from Jerusalem to Jericho, who helped him? A Samaritan.
Because I remember someone telling me the Good Samaritan is like saying the good thief.
Yes.
In the eyes of the listeners. Of the
Jews.
Of the Jews, yes.
Of the Jews.
Yes.
Who are now calling themselves Israel.
Yes.
I was teaching them that. They were very happy. They were very happy telling them that there should not be discrimination between the children of Abraham.
Yes. And they are one.
And they are one. So I was telling them now, even you, Christians, I told them 3 religions, Christianity, Islam,
yes,
Judaism, they are all children of
the one father.
Of one father, Abraham.
Yes.
Why are we fighting? And some Christians, especially in America, thinking that the Israelis are the Israel. And as if the Palestinians are not.
And Kenyans too. There's a lot of Zionism in Kenya, which is influenced by the American evangelical.
Paid for.
Yes.
But I'm saying it's a big and historical and a lie.
Yes.
To say that the majority are not Israelites. The minority, one tribe out of the
10.
Of the 12.
Of the 12, yes.
To say it is the only Israelite, but that they did not call themselves Israel before, in order to claim the whole area which was given to Abraham.
Yeah.
And they excluded the other the real Israelites.
Yes.
That exclusion. We believers, Christians, are required to be inclusive.
Yes.
You understand that word? To accept pluralism and diversity. So, if you cannot, even in Kikuyu, Muranga, and Nyeri, and Kiambu would fight to exclude each other from power. About how they treat, what the Jews are doing to Palestinians? What would the rest of the Kenya be? Or if we are to exclude the Kalenjin or the Luos or the Bijikenda, what in the world shall we be? Me, I'm a preacher and a minister of the whole world.
Yeah.
if I were to discriminate against you because you are a woman, or because you are Koesh is not. In fact, one of my officers here is called Koesh. If I employ people according to diversity, and now, if I were to discriminate against, even in employment, here I have only my own tribe.
Yeah.
What would I speak to the rest of the world? Nothing.
Yeah.
So I do love, or I'm saying, the Christianity you are telling me about, the popular,
Yes.
cultural,
Yes.
in Kenya, distinguishes itself from my own church in Keno, where Yashigai came.
Yes.
He is a Buddhist.
Yes.
Isn't he?
I'm not sure about
Yes.
it. Yes, yeah.
David is not a Christian, he's, I think, Hinduist. And I think William Tuga is a Muslim very clearly.
Yes.
I can tell you of how many people of different religions even come to Keno from Kepera. When we have a celebration like of the Constitution.
Yes.
To worship Kena, wearing their own buibui.
Their attire.
Their attire.
Yes.
They don't, and they come to church.
Yes.
And they are accepted. Why? Because we are Christians.
Yes, we should.
We cannot discriminate against people on the basis of, especially of faith, which is when they say that God created all people equal, and then we discriminate on the basis of that faith. You cannot, that's abuse of faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. So one of the, as I've been listening to you, and I shared with you that I love liberation theology. I love listening to the works. And when I come here, when I listen to you, when I see you working, I feel like you embody all these very liberative theologies. And last week, one of the fathers of liberation theologies passed on, called Gustavo Gutierrez. I'd like to quote something that he said in one of his books. He said, "Prophets denounce all kinds of abuse, all forms of keeping the poor in their impoverished situations or of creating new poor people. They do not just allude to situations. They point their fingers at the guilty ones." You allow me to say this, that you have been one of our prophets in this country. You have over time pointed fingers at the guilty ones and also paid the price for it. I have very many questions around that. One is why we no longer have prophets in the country who are pointing fingers. And then the second, or if there are, please point me to them. Then the second question around this is, why is it that this, especially liberative theologies, are not part of the Kenyan psyche, where liberation, feminist, humanist, black theology. I learned about James Cone when he died, and I would consider myself someone who is seeking truth. Yet I learned about James Cone very late in my in life. Why don't we have this as part of our theological education? And then why and what led you to standing out and pointing the fingers? Yes. If that is the correct term.
Okay, let me express my sorrow if Gutierrez died.
Yes.
I met Gutierrez not once.
Oh.
I met Ruben Alves not once. I met Ruben Alves. You have heard of him?
Yes, I have.
All these liberation theologians.
Yes.
And so, but I'm not a liberation theologian.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
Liberation theology came how black people in America were resisting white racism, which was very good. It was very precise. I was saying they were fighting against discrimination, segregation, and other things. I was a segregator and discriminator in Kenya by nature of being a major tribe. Yes. And being a Kenyattaist.
Are you a Kenyan?
Perception. I'm not,
okay.
but I'm meaning
yes.
how the perception.
Okay.
Like when Tomboya died, I went to a meeting in Philadelphia. I was in America for 8 years. And the meeting used to be African, everybody, and the Ruos were shouting at me because they thought because I'm a Kenyatta but it took a time to convince them
that you're
what Kenyatta did
yes.
is explain he did it because in defense of his own power, which I don't belong to because it's tyrannical.
Yes.
But anyway, that's not the issue.
Yes.
The issue is perception, misconception. But I'm saying I knew the way the black people viewed the white is the way I can be viewed. Being also very educated in Kenya with a PhD and a doctor of divinity.
Yes.
Two doctorates. It's not.
I've not even done my master's, so.
Yeah, you see, so with all that.
Yes.
You are more likely to be the oppressor.
Yes.
If you want to earn money and you have a piece of land and many women, you can have polygamy. But anyway, so when I talk about liberation theology, what am I talking? Who versus who?
Yes.
I will be on the side of the oppressor.
I see.
You get me?
Yes.
Then you come to Latin America. Liberation theology was about disconstructing even the first bishop who supported was killed. Bishop
Oscar Romero?
Yeah, Romero.
Yes.
It was about dealing with the Roman Catholicism in Latin America.
Yes.
Being part of the state machinery. Being compromised by the status quo. Oh, you understand?
Yes.
It was the failure of the Roman Catholicism in America to consider the poor, the weak, the oppressed, the marginalized, the Indians, the indigenous people.
Yes.
And when they want to convert them, they took them to homes, children to be converted to be the indigenized. You remember?
Yes, the residential schools especially Canada
and also in America.
Okay.
I used to know their names.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that liberation theology was dealing with a situation in America and Latin America, precisely.
Yeah.
In Africa, it was brought here by people like John Beatty, many other people. And because John Beatty went to Geneva, where he was in charge, and I used to invite me to talk about what I'm talking now.
Yes.
About telling them that liberation theology it can be deceptive if you are like in Nkrumah, you are like Kenyatta, or you are like Mobutu.
Okay.
Because it should be against you. And I say that I'm likely to be
the one that the liberation theology is against and fighting.
Don't you think so?
Based on, especially in the Kenyan context, based on the
tribe I come from,
the tribe, your education, the church, and the education.
We marginalize other people.
Yes,
don't
we do. Yes.
So I cannot just jump into liberation theology without being self-critical.
Okay.
I had to be very, very self-conscious and very self-critical as to the context in which, because it is a self-contextualization, according to Ruben Alves. Yeah. Critical consciousness.
Yes.
So I'm very critically conscious when I see people like William Mutunga, or people like Kibwana, coming to my church, and they were not my PCA. Then I find that at least I can now say that liberation theology they have won. They are the one who are liberation theologians.
Okay.
To me.
Yes.
Because I have not played the game, the Kenyan game, of being part of the ruling class, of the ruling elite.
Yes.
I'm part of the liberation. I'm in the trenches with everybody else.
Yes.
So let me put this way, that we need to critique liberation theology so that it does not come like the other Western theologies.
Yes.
Pope on that May 1493, the Pope declared a bull called Inter Caetera, in which Pope Alexander VI, which commissioned all the European monarchies and empires to go and colonize and enslave Asia, America, Africa, all these continents.
In the name of God?
In the name of God, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Imperialism was accepted. Even people like Martin Luther, who brought the Reformation and not criticized colonialism or slavery.
For context, it's the first Martin Luther, the one of the 95 Theses.
The one in 1917 who wrote.
Yes.
1517.
Yes.
Who put 95 Theses on the Wittenberg Church.
Yes.
I'm very concerned with the Christian history.
Yes.
Okay, all that. No Western theologian critiqued the Pope. They critiqued being oppressed by the papacy, being as indulgences. Other countries being oppressed by the Vatican are being told to pay taxes to Rome. Yes,
and the paying of indulgences, sometimes I try to explain this, is that people were paying a tax to the church that they can access heaven.
Yeah, yes. They can buy heaven.
Yes.
And they not only paid taxes in terms of money, they paid with the terms of contributing crusaders to go and liberate the Holy Land.
Yes.
The crusade.
So when you hear a crusade, a crusade is not what we see in Kenya. In front of a pulpit and a thing.
No.
A crusade was different.
It was go and kill the Arabs and the Jews to liberate the Holy Land.
Yes.
Is that you understand? By Pope Urban. So
to Christianize
to Christianize the Arabs and kill those who cannot.
Yes.
They killed 900,000 of the Arabs and the Jews and the Muslims who could not get converted.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying at least there was about 400,000.
Yeah.
These people fought back.
Yeah.
But we are talking about indulgences.
Yes.
Indulgences was not only contributing money. It was contributing soldiers.
Yes.
And paying them to the Pope to go and liberate the Holy Land from the infidels. You get me?
Yes.
In terms of the coast, in Kenya coast, who would be the infidels? The Christians. You get me?
Yes.
Because there's more predominantly Islam.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to put out is that we Christian theologians need to be so conscious what kind of where we go to our theology.
Yes.
And where we got our denomination.
Yes.
And what it was teaching. Did it call upon me to be human? To be equal and relate with God on equal basis like everyone? I said, was the ground level for all of us.
At the cross.
That's at the cross, beneath the cross.
Yeah.
It's the ground level. Ask yourself whichever church you belong to. You talk of liberation theology, so I say that liberation theology reminds me to accept the pride of the people in Latin America and of the slaves in America. And therefore know that I too can be a white man in black skin.
Yes.
Can't I?
Yes.
Yeah, and we have so many white people in black.
In black skin, that's
in black
true.
skin.
Yeah.
Yes, who are oppressing their black people in the name that they are black. Or the name that they are Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And so we have to contextualize the theologies. The other question that I'd asked in this context was, what is it about your upbringing and you who you are that led you to point fingers as the role of a prophet? And then what, if you look at Kenyan theological education at the moment, these theologies that bring everybody to level ground at the cross are not present.
Okay.
What is the challenge?
You are going to remind me your question so as to
Yes.
First of all, to critique the word contextualization.
Yes.
Contextualization, meaning making it rock that which is not yours.
Yes. Yes.
Which is not
yours.
Making somebody else's product to appear to be your product. Africans trying to contextualize Christianity in Africa, indigenize it. Why can't you create your own Christianity instead of indigenizing?
Okay.
Why can't you the one? Why? But let me say, everything you believe, you yourself, is indigenous because it's you who believes it.
Okay.
You don't have to indigenize somebody else's beliefs.
Yes.
You don't womanize anything I say because you are a woman.
So it is
what you believe.
Whatever I believe
that's
is
what
woman.
you are.
Yes.
It says who you are. That's your identity. That's your life.
Okay.
So I'm saying that I have never wanted the one, even when I went to Liberation and Theologian meeting, because I used to go to them, I said that, don't tell me to contextualize your thoughts.
Yeah.
I too think.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can think. I can invent. Why should I contextualize penicillin? Because it was not in Kenya. When I take the penicillin, it is in my body, which
reacts to it.
Which reacts and like it reacts in a white man's body. Is that contextualization? That when I take penicillin, am I contextualizing it? Why are you laughing? It's true.
It's true, yes.
Are you if the word of God is the word of God for everybody, it's the word of God for me. If it is penicillin for you, in Latin America, when you take it, it kills your bacteria.
Yes.
What is mainly is supposed to treat typhoid or anything. If you can get typhoid when you are a nation, Latin America.
The typhoid, the bacteria is not discriminatory.
It's not. You don't. I mean, let me very very clearly, Joseph. When I take medicine, I'm not contextualizing it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether it's made in China. Whether it's made in Russia, or it is made in England, or it is made in Muranga, or it is made in Kampala. I'm taking something to treat myself because it's available in this universe. It was made by God originally. People did not create the elements of making penicillin.
Yes.
They simply imagine how to configure and make them available to kill malaria, or to kill typhoid, or to kill any other disease. So I'm telling you, this idea of contextualization, making something, owning it because as if it belongs to someone else. Knowledge is universal. You agree?
Yes, I agree.
All knowledge is
universal.
Universal.
Yes.
What you know is universal. It's not English. So that when I use it and I own it, you call it contextual.
Yes.
Contextualization.
And intellectual property.
Intellectual property. There's no like property. What you produce as a human being is human. We are all one. We are all brothers and sisters of one
God.
another. So I'm talking about being inclusive, about being plural, about diversity, and not about apartheid. Yeah.
All right.
When you talk about apartheid, then you can talk about contextualization.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about that. But again, you told me to remind you.
In my question.
Your question. My question was, what led you to being a prophet? And then also, what, if you look at the Kenyan church and how the Kenyan church is going, a lot of, there's the concept of all equal at the foot of the cross.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Thank you for quoting at the foot of the cross.
Yes.
All people are equal.
Yes.
Now, if you read Isaiah, Isaiah told you before you are born, before you are in mother's womb,
Yes.
I conceived you.
Yes.
And so Jesus Christ was conceived in heaven, but he birthed human.
Yes.
You get me?
Yes.
I was conceived to be oppressed, to break and to build. That's what Jeremiah was told.
Yes.
That's what I had God tell me. That I didn't, before you are Kenyan or you are this and that, I conceived you to be my prophet, my kasisi. I'm writing a book based on that, called Kasisi. That's the book I'm writing now. I've written already 273 pages.
Okay.
The kasisi, meaning about myself. How I had the call to be a kasisi, to be a prophet, to be a liberator.
Yes.
A kasisi can be a prophet, priest, all those things. Rabbi. Jesus Christ was called rabbi sometimes to mean kasisi. So I had the call by God to preach good news to the poor, to the weak, his manifesto. I was called by God to declare his manifesto, political manifesto to the whole world. Yeah. Because I had the call and the commission, go you, Timothy Njoya, to the whole world and preach to all nations. Not to Kenyans, or to all people of the world. That's how I had. And that's my being saved in 1956 was a call to do that. And that's why I became a minister, to proclaim good news to the poor, to the weak, to the oppressed. And to say, where I'm oppressor, sorry God. Because the most likely is because I was born in my village. I was born by a teacher and a mother. Yes. I was the only privileged person to be born by a teacher and a mother, both a father and a mother. And so, for the other children, I was privileged. Yeah. When I told you I had a privilege when going to school, everywhere, because my mother, Wadia, was a teacher. My father, and when I remember those early days, my father was a headman. He was a teacher first and he became a headman. Yeah. People didn't like children of the headman. Yes. So, to me, my father was the reincarnation of Kenyatta. Because he became headman even during Kenyatta. He was a reincarnation of Moi. So, according to all the past conflict, fighting Moi was fighting my father in me. Oh. Trying to liberate myself from that kind of background. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Can you see? I see. So my call was called not to liberate Aves and Gutierrez and all those people, but to liberate myself from being an oppressor. Okay. You get me? Yes, I get you. Because I'm a privileged class in Kenya. Yeah. How many people have a house like this? Yeah. You know what you're saying reminds me of what the Archbishop Oscar Romero, there's a very brilliant movie about his life where it shows how he used his privilege. He was Archbishop, he was elected Archbishop, and then which is a privilege. Yes, which is a privilege in that context. Even being a minister in Kenya is a privilege, even a preacher. Yes. And so until he realized what was actually going on with the people of El Salvador, that I think salvation came to him when he immersed himself in the story of the people. Of course. But then he was killed because he became very vocal. Of course, vocal about his own life. Yes. About his own life. And other people felt guilty of him saying, sorry, I am oppressor. Yes. You get me? Yes. Yes. They felt worse than if an oppressed person is fighting them. Yes. You get me? Yes. For me, if I were not a privileged person, Moi would not have beaten me. If I was anybody. I was a minister of St. Andrew's Church. Yes. A key center of the church. And I used to have every Monday, first Monday of the month, I used to have a broadcast service. Yes. And also, the TV crew was coming to show my directly live, my sermon. Yeah. It was not privilege. It is, yeah. Who am I liberating? Tell me who else am I liberating? Myself from those privileges. Yes. Is that true? That's true. Even today I drive a car. When I talk about the oppressed, who is the oppressor? You are.
We are in all our
the way we are. So let's say that we want to be equal. It is starting with us. How we treat one another, how we treat people, how we relate with the poor, because we are not poor. Because look at our shoes, look at our clothes,
yes,
look at our cheeks. We seem to have used soap to wash in the morning.
Yeah.
So, how many people have soap?
Yeah.
In Kenya? Pastoralists, do they carry soap on the foreign cows?
No.
We use inordinate amount of resources. And it's high time those people who call themselves prophets, those who call them, know that Moses was brought in the palace, in the state house.
Yeah.
He had to be the first to surrender that.
Yes.
Did he?
Yes. Yes, he did, yeah.
All these were people who were privileged. All the prophets would have been people who were privileged, but they became conscious of everybody else, that we are all children of God.
Yeah.
And that's why we start. Yeah. And I think Kenya is not you, it's me and you. Yeah, it's all of us.
It's all of us together.
Yeah.
Every time we've been talking from the morning, and every time we have a conversation, it sparks another area of interest. I would like to bring together the conversation around Occupy churches and what that movement has meant for you. And I would love to honor the Moabili and Charles who have been really pushing this together. But for you, what does Occupy churches mean? The movement for Occupy churches?
It's God's judgment.
Yeah.
Already have admitted the privilege.
Yes.
I need to be occupied.
Yeah.
Those people are building. Somebody should take this core away from me. It's a symbol of power, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's the power was become state instrument for use to exploit and oppress the Kenyans.
Yeah.
We are becoming the platform. We are becoming, we are being swayed by, we are selling the congregants for money. Money which is corruptly gained.
Yes.
You don't ask people, where did you get all this money you are giving, billions? When did you earn it? And I'm more educated than you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I became a minister for over 50 years. I've never accepted money from a politician in my church, even today.
Yes.
You get me?
Yeah.
Never.
Do you?
Or even I believe Harabe is sin.
Yes.
I've never built with a Harabe. Yet my church was one of the richest churches in the world because it had people, more people are flocking. Yes. More people were flocking into it on Sunday to hear the sermon, and even if they give 2 shillings, it's a lot of money because the people who are contributing are a lot. Many. Yeah. It's not true.
Yeah.
And regular. Mama Poka is the one who really sustained my church because she's regular. But this politician is coming only once.
They come heavily loaded though.
But they cannot give him as money as a constant Mama Poka who doesn't miss church any Sunday. He's the one I can count on.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
For survival. Just like our children at home.
Yeah.
You cannot live on charity. You must have rights.
Yeah.
Something constant you owe and not beholden, not bought. Don't sell your dignity. So I'm saying, I've never not believed that Harabe is a sin. Because you are selling the poor to the rich.
Yes.
The poor can liberate themselves. They are the ones who work for the rich. They produce almost everything in the world. They are the coffee pickers.
Yeah.
They are the tea harvesters. They are the milkers.
Yeah.
They are milk. all those you see tarmac roads, all the tarmac is rolled by the sweat of the coffee pickers. And the banana planters.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
It's true.
It did not come from the State House.
Yeah.
It came from GDP, meaning the ones of our value of our labor and the things we have produced. And who have produced them? The poor.
It's the poor. Yeah.
Yeah. The poor in Kenya produce 80% of the GDP, yet 80% of the GDP is in the hands of the 20%.
Yes, and it's majority of the budget in Kenyan government is recurring, which means it is paying salaries of a few.
Of a few. That I'm talking 80% of the money is produced by the poor, but is in the hands of the 20% of the rich.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in terms of Occupy churches, you are pro the Occupy.
I'm not only occupied.
Yes.
I don't. Let me not use a more violent word.
No, you can use
But
this. You can use it. This is a safe place to say what we need to say.
Do away with the churches. They are not useful. Yeah, do away with them. That's the principle. Not all of them, but I don't want to distinguish which are good ones and all.
Yes.
But do away with all of them. Those churches which are personal, individually possessed, owned, charismatic, spiritual, Pentecostal, all these churches, mainline, I think we can do away with them and be better than having them. I do believe that. Because if they are going to do the bidding of God, I would like them.
Yeah.
But if they are going to do Ruto's bidding,
Yes.
I would rather they be abolished. Yeah.
Yeah, but to connect the role of churches to the poor people, churches are, especially for poor people, the places where every Sunday you go to find community, to find solace after a whole week of toiling. Why is the church very central to Kenya's psyche?
I'm talking. Again, you are bringing me the church all the time, the institution. The people are coming to church because they believe in God. They don't even think it's an institution. They are coming individually and personally to relate to one another.
Yes.
According to a British research recently, I do not know whether you saw it or not, Christians in Britain live longer. Church people live longer than other people. They are more healthy. Do you know why? Because they have a platform for relating and outletting and connecting, empowerment.
Yeah.
And I said you have food, you have exercise, and you have relationship concerned. The church, you need to relate if you are human. We are social beings.
Yes.
And that's why people even are going to their original cults to look for social connections.
Yes.
Because we are by nature, as human beings, we are social beings.
Yes.
We are gregarian.
Yes.
And therefore, I do say that the people come to church because they are social, but the elites capitalize on that to plunder for those who to victimize those who come because of their own emotional needs.
Yes.
Their own spiritual needs. They want to be affirmed, but instead of being affirmed, they become victims. And I'm saying, let the church be the church. I don't want to say my cannot where I go is the ideal church, but I love it. Because we all are equal. You all are equal. I see we are all equal, even me. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So just a little bit on the church, and then we move on, because there is all this now, the NCCK, EAK, OAIC in Kenya. And once you talked about, I remember there was a press conference that was called once, that the bishop there said they do not know the source of the corrupt money. They cannot distinguish. So they will accept the money and pray over it.
Irresponsible.
Yes, and pray over it.
How do they hold those people accountable? If you don't mind their source.
They pray.
And I'm saying, how do you hold the corrupt people are corruptible? If you know, you don't know, you don't ask them where is the source of the money.
Yeah.
I don't ask them myself. Yeah. I will not. Anyway, they won't come to my church.
So
politicians,
they don't like your church.
Politicians say, if you don't want me in elections, give your money. And they know that.
Yes.
Because they announced the next meeting.
Yes.
I was bribed.
You was bribed.
I will announce.
Yes.
If you give me money, I say when I went to church, even in Dagoretti where you are, I will not, don't buy me a kilo of meat, marry your family, because I know some of you don't buy meat for your, I told them that.
Yes, you told me about the man who was divorced. Yes.
I told them, you people, men, don't eat the money, meat in the butchery, and call you are there to go and have a kilo.
Yes.
Please, I accept it, but buy it and take it to your
family. Yeah.
I told you when you were talking about a woman whose husband was taking meat to the mother.
Yes.
Instead of, and that led to divorce because very few men take money, a kilo of meat home. For mistake, a year to taste some meat. But the man eats meat almost every day on the way from work.
Yeah.
That kind
and then comes home and says he's very hungry. And then he comes home and says he's very hungry. He has eaten nothing.
He comes and asks for water, he's thirsty.
Yes.
But because even sometimes beer makes you thirsty.
Yes.
So let me put it this way. Let's become for Christianity as a faith. As our relationship with God and one another. As our relationship with God and another. Because in that way, we will not relate materially. And we will not relate in terms of power. We will relate as brothers and sisters. Yeah.
And power for me, as we talk about power, I look at especially like these alliances, Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, NCCK, OAIC.
I'm a patron of the NCCK, Mark you.
Yes, you are.
I'm the patron.
Yes, and I see them as places and areas for constituting power and negotiating for power.
Sure, they are.
Yes, and so, and I wonder, what is the role of those places, especially in light of the Kenya that is at this...
But the NCCK is a social organ of the church.
Yes.
To be able to promote human welfare on behalf of the church, to become a ministry to the poor and to the needy and all the others, empowerment. So that's what it was started to do, to be the social expression of the church.
Yeah.
Social gospel.
Yes.
And many evangelicals left the mainline church because of being not soul salvation.
Yeah.
You see, soul salvation is the only, it was never preached in Europe. It was for export, for saving African souls, for export to heaven, to meet the deficit of white souls. You know why is salvation of the soul? There's the word only the soul once in the whole Bible, in the New Testament. Only once. And
do you know now, every time you hear, how many souls were won?
There's nothing like that in the Bible, only once, and it is not mentioning about salvation. The word salvation is not there.
Yeah.
The word salvation, it's not biblical. Jesus Christ never talked about the word soul throughout his ministry.
Yes.
He fed the hungry.
Yes.
And did what? Raised the dead.
He raised the dead.
Back to this life, not the
not
dead.
To because why would he?
Raised the dead.
Yeah.
Fed the hungry, healed the sick. Are those souls? People. The human being contains soul. Don't compartmentalize a human being and dichotomize her into a body and mind, into a soul and a body.
And that is Greek thinking. And that's Greek thinking of dualism as well.
Dualism.
Yeah.
No, it is, you are very, very philosophical. Yes. That's true.
Yes.
That dualism is, I call it not dualism, but dichotomization.
Yes.
Pitting body against mind.
Mind, yes.
I am not that.
Yeah.
I want to be healthy.
Yes.
I said, you must eat well and sleep well to be healthy. Going to heaven is not your duty. That's God's own
but then
duty.
I'm made to be a very bad Christian because I've not led anyone to Jesus.
But I'm saying, don't lead people to Jesus Christ. Take Jesus Christ to people. Okay?
Yes.
You yourself, don't lead them, but take Jesus Christ to them. Go and preach the word of God and teach them and to uphold what things I have taught you.
Yeah.
You are sent. Go ye therefore.
Yes.
Not go and bring, but go to them. Transform the world into the original, in Garden of Eden, where they are all God's children. So let me put this one. When you want to save souls, you are dichotomizing a human being.
Yeah.
You are killing a human being in order to extract a soul. For where? For export.
Yes.
To where?
To heaven.
To meet what?
The Creator.
The deficit of white souls. When the white souls found that their souls in heaven are not enough, they themselves in the world were saved.
Yes.
But when they died because they were saved, and let me take you back to the Apostles' Creed.
Yes.
And I believe in God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Creator of the heaven and earth.
Creator of heaven and earth. And Jesus, his only begotten Son, born of who?
Virgin Mary.
The world.
Yes.
And what? Who died and rose again. And he rose
again, yes.
And I believe in the resurrection of the body.
Yes.
Not of the soul. That's Bible. That's biblical.
Yeah.
I believe in the resurrection
of the body.
Of the body.
Yeah.
And the life, not the soul, and the life everlasting.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ raised Lazarus, not his soul. He raised the child, the girl of
Capernaum, yeah.
Not the whole soul.
Yes.
He raised the girl herself.
Yes.
And he will raise me up. And I'll see my mother in heaven, my dear. So, I will not see her soul. I will see...
Utakujiwa hapa na mawe by the Christians who will every day, every Sunday ask you how many souls have you brought to the kingdom.
I mean, they are very stupid.
Yes.
Why do you want my soul in heaven if you don't want me in your house? If you don't want me in your house or you want to be yourself in my house, why do you want me in heaven? Because it's not yours. You want to guard everything in the world that it's yours and me nothing.
Yes.
And you want to take me to heaven because that's not, I'm taking away from nothing. It must be here. We must share life here. And we will share it. Blessed are those who die in Jesus Christ, for their works will follow them to
heaven.
Is that true? During funerals, that's what we say.
That's what we say. Follow them. Your work follows you to heaven.
To heaven.
Yes, yes.
Blessed are those who die in Jesus Christ, for their works shall follow them. When you feed me and the hungry, the sick, the way Jesus did, not the soul, because the soul doesn't eat very. Well, but you give me ugari and githeri,
yes,
and meat, then we shall be with you to heaven. If you don't give me to these things, and I come to heaven and I see you, I know I'm in hell.
You're in hell when you didn't feed me and we are together.
What am I going to do with you in heaven? Or with your soul? If I was hungry and you ate, and you did not help me and you don't feed me when
And you ate well.
Yeah.
You ate well,
and
very much.
I ate very badly.
Yes.
And then you want me to, to say, to pray for me and to pay for you.
Yes.
And you're going to give me your Mpesa number.
Yes.
So that when you pray for me, is the money going to heaven or to you?
Yeah. Prayers for miracles.
Miracles which miracle was ever done to take anybody to heaven? Only to make the miracle doer rich. Do you know that? All the miracles in Kenya are done to enrich
the miracle doer.
The miracle doer. They are gold mines.
Yes.
Miracles are
gold mines.
Gold mines. For who?
For the miracle doer.
For the miracle doer.
Yeah. But we love miracles. If your church does not have power and miracles, and it has not, if I'm not preaching with an authoritative voice.
I believe in miracles, but not that kind of thing for industry.
Yes.
Not the industrial one.
The miracle industrial complex. After the military industrial
where it has to do with money, not with faith. Not with faith.
Yeah.
You only believe if you have money. If you don't have money, you won't get healed.
And you know there's some places where you pay to sit at the front.
I can pay there, but if the sound speakers are not working,
yes, you will suffer.
But why buy all these loud speakers to make children not do study in the village, noise, everything?
Yeah.
Because these people have the greatest. Anytime I go to a village and I found them, the first thing I go to is to go to the police station to say that my children here of this village want to study in the evening. They want to sleep for tomorrow. There is an exam. Can you stop? Even here, I told them. Even there was a church who started here and started making noise. Yeah. I went to the chief. The first thing I did was to go to the chief to tell them to stop disturbing us. I said, I told the chief, no. Noise pollution is prohibited in Kenya law. You get me?
Yes.
Even vehicles were told not to get to put mufflers, voice breakers, not to make noise, because you make decibels deafen people.
Yeah.
You will become all deaf if we continue hearing the voice, the noise. So I tell you that even when I went to Atakashui, there was a preacher, and the first thing I went to is go to the police station. And not only that, there was a bar where people dance all night, disco. I stopped it. I had it stopped. I don't say it is myself.
Yes.
Because I don't want to be killed.
Yes. You want to live
but I want to
long
live,
until you have 50 more years.
But at least I know what I do.
Yes.
Like now I know Mesa or a kid and others in here. I go to do research every time to the police station. I ask the OCS when he comes new. I ask him, what is the rate of crime in Ngong? He doesn't know. I told him, and why? What have you come here to do? Then he tells me 8%. And where are you? He tells me I was in Dadora. What was the rate of crime in Dadora? He tells me 200. I told him the difference is 180 difference. He tells me here. But he said that, then he told me, I mean in Kenya, he told me that Ngong is the 8th worst place to live in Kenya, but in Dodoma is the 200th.
200th, yes.
So I like, and when I preach, like when there's a community meeting or anything, I use this data. I tell them, I want you to increase, to reduce the rate of crime. So I belong to the security committee here.
Oh, that's
we
great.
Meet here.
In this meeting?
In this boardroom.
All right.
Every month.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm saying, if you drive a Buddha here and it makes noise, make sure I will report you.
You will report me.
I will look for your number.
And
if you are going to go that way, I'll wait to see.
And see it.
I'll report. So all the Buddha now reduce their
noises. Yeah. That's a good thing, yeah.
That's how I serve the community. You get me?
Yes, I get you.
By protecting it from noise makers, thieves, house breakers, voice builders.
Yes.
Do you know that everybody who beats his wife knows that I might know?
Oh, the wife beaters don't like you.
Not that they don't like me, but because I love their family, that's why I don't like wife beaters.
You're right.
And you know it's not good to be. You know, if people beat their wives, you know it's not good.
No, it's not.
It is but I know they do it knowing it's a crime.
Yes.
Don't they?
Yes.
And they
Or they do it because they saw it done and they thought this is the way.
Fathers.
Yes, they saw it.
It's a custom, it's a culture.
It is how.
It's a utamaduni.
Yes.
And they were taught in 2002. They were taught by the Europeans. Because mira ni mtumwa. Because in 19, that's because Britain appointed Montgomery, the Colonel Montgomery, Joseph Montgomery, in Kenya to create what you call LFD.
What is LFD?
Northern Frontier Districts.
Oh, NFD,
and
okay.
The other marginal areas to protect the cultures from being infiltrated by the Christianity and by Westernization, so that they are easy to control and the people want rights. People want jobs, people want employment, people want national cake. So Britain protected itself from revolution in Kenya by creating marginal.
Yeah.
So marginal was a government policy. And there was a chief native commissioner. Have you read about him?
No.
Can you Google there and see, and ask Montgomery, Colonel Montgomery, Kenya chief native commissioner. And you'll be told, he'll give you his history. Kenya native chief commissioner.
I will have a look at him.
You'll have a native. You see, so I'm saying, you thought marginalization came by chance.
No, it was
planned. Created by the government.
Ah.
Of the policy used called divide a day.
Rule.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I've heard of it. Yeah.
In Kenya, it was created what do they call reserves?
Yes.
As opposed to urban.
Yes.
And there were land reserves for native civilians reserves, colonies. National reserves, animal reserves, game reserves, human
reserves.
Even today, people say that the reserve. I'm going to the reserves.
Yeah, you hear a lot of reserve, especially in the Rift Valley, and in central Kenya.
Yeah,
you hear a lot of people reserve. Saying going
because
to
these
reserve.
were created to marginalize people from one another. Yes.
Okay.
And even I think the people who created the counties. I was part of the county creation. But they were trying, because we fought against Majibo, when we were making a constitution. So now, this kind of counties were sometimes created for marginalization. They are doing what they want, what they were supposed to distribute opportunities, resources, equal development, and all that. But some become tools of marginalization. Yeah.
All right.
Have you noted that?
Yes, because I've seen, especially even like if you look at the counties in the northern Kenya. What was the northern Kenya? What was slated for development is now also being used.
Because 90% of all the money given to the NFD, Northern Frontier, all those remains in Nairobi.
Yeah.
The politicians are building good houses.
Yes.
In Muthaiga.
Yes.
And Lavington and those other areas.
Yes.
They have really spent the money building themselves big houses in Nairobi.
Yes.
Yeah. Money doesn't go back to Turkana and other places. We have, one of the people contribute food to Turkana when people are hungry, and I'm not rich like them. Those politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are the ones who contribute to churches. Yeah.
And maybe that brings a conversation that I had forgotten about that I wanted to ask you. When churches, a long time ago, when churches were building schools, hospitals, and all of that, they used to be for common good. Now we find that most of these schools and hospitals that churches have built, some of them are not affordable to the people who built them. What would you say is the difference between when like the long institutional churches were building schools and hospitals and what is happening there? Does the church being involved in education, in healthcare, does it excuse the government from doing its duty?
You see, the government took schools in 1968.
Yes.
You know that? That's when it nationalized schools, but churches to be sponsors.
Yes.
It didn't have any school. Even those schools it has today, it didn't start. Out of 100, only 1% started by the government. These others are community started or government. The government nationalized them.
Okay.
And so that's why while the churches had not built schools, there are no schools. Yeah. So if some churches, if places there are churches still run by churches, and the children can afford, that's counter to why we started. We started agriculture, agri-evangelism.
Yeah.
To evangelize, make people, feed people Jesus, because it's, according to God's command, go and feed. We build hospital like Kikuyu or Chogoria, not for making money, but evangelism. Go and heal the sick, the bride, the deaf, give them sight.
And it is not for souls. Because when you say evangelism, a lot of the mind is okay. Now, if you don't accept Jesus, you will not be. You will not.
No.
Yes.
No. That's stupid.
Yes.
What? That's not the gospel.
Yes.
That's man-made.
Yes.
Gospel, small g. Because we were commanded not to go and save souls. Any verse in the Bible I said. But that's why I said it was invented as a colonial tool.
Yes.
For saving African souls, for export to heaven, to meet the deficit of white souls. But anyway, there were no deficit in heaven of black people. That's why they did not want to evangelize black people, but to save black people and black souls. Because they didn't want black people in heaven. They didn't want them on earth, they didn't want them in heaven.
Where do we go?
Our souls shall go to heaven.
Yes.
Because they are colorless. But let me put this way.
Yes.
Schools, being not money-making, there's no need of individuals making money-making and institutional money-making is the same. Because it denies the people equal opportunity, equal rights, equal dignity, and respect. So I'm saying that you should not have a school that it's not an instrument of evangelism. If you are a church.
Yes.
Or as hospital, which is not an instrument
of evangelism.
Reaching the people.
Yes.
Or even agriculture was an agri-evangelism. That's what we called it long ago. Agri-evangelism. By feeding the people, not as charity, but enabling them to farm profitably. Do good cropping. It's something you don't know. Unless you read that book, the treatise.
Yes.
Dr. Patterns, a missionary in Kibwezi of the PC, is the one who imported tomatoes from the Mediterranean and grapes to Kenya. A Presbyterian missionary.
Yes.
Imported mangoes, oranges, coffee, and from Mexico. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
It was part of the PCA irrigation scheme in Kibwezi. And by 1996, we were selling things, packaged things, even wine in England and in Great Britain. And he's the one, and also the Kibwezi, called it, not PCA, it was called Free Church of Scotland. It's the one who imported blue gums and all these things you see, trees in Kenya, from Australia. Did you know that? No,
I did not.
You were brought by the church.
Okay.
And it's the church PCA doctor, I'm forgetting his name, who brought the coffee in Royo. It was brought by the church.
Okay.
There was no government. The government colonized Kenya. It started colonizing Kenya in the Chebarin. Joseph Chibarin, the Secretary for State for Colonies, is the one who started calling Kenya, 1902, declared Kenya.
Imperial British East Africa?
No. British East Africa was... Imperial British Africa was a tool of the Church of Evangelism. He declared Kenya crown land. You know the word crown land?
Yes.
Crown property.
Yes.
And the natives as tenants at the will of the crown. That's the same declaration, a decree. Kenya, a crown property, and the natives, tenants at the will of
the crown.
Yeah. So the settlers were brought and replaced many natives. Created quarters, marginalized, landless. All that was done to colonize Kenya, 1902. But he was unsuccessful in colonization until 1920, when another Secretary of State now declared Kenya colony and protectorate. We were not colonized until 1920, officially, because we were uncolonizable. But even then, the word colonialism created resistance, which became the Mau later. Because the people who are educated, the correcting the Presbyterian middle class, not the middle class. They resisted colonialism.
Okay.
And therefore they became Mau.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they became, first of all, the African independent churches. Snowball and became Mau.
All right.
It's a snowballing. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
That's very interesting history. And
that is the history you can read in this book.
We will look at the books and I would like you to plug your books as we are ending. I have two questions that I'd like to talk to you about. One about feminism, masculinity, and the boy child and flawed masculinity. And then about boys and women and how we interact with each other in the church.
Up to now, we are very practical.
Yes.
And then, now we are becoming theoretical.
Yes.
Let me become a little bit theoretical.
Yes.
What does the masculinity mean? It means a man is provider, protector, and owner. Start the other way around. Owner.
Provider, protector.
And protector.
Yes.
Okay, he owns... He owns women, children, and property.
Yes.
Property means of existence.
Yes.
And he protects them.
Yes.
So he is the overall. So that's what is defined by masculinity. Masculinity is not a biological term.
Yes.
It is dominance. Then femininity, subservient to all those three.
Yes.
The man as a provider, the protector, owner.
So you're at the mercy of the provision of the man.
The
provision. And mercy at
But you are the one producing.
Yes.
You are the one cultivating maize and coffee and beans and cooking and everything. You are the producer.
Yes.
But it's not, you are using it for the man.
Yes.
For your husband.
Yes.
Because if you are lazy, you will be returned to your father.
Yes.
You get me?
Yes.
These women were not kept. They were divorced.
Yes.
Not divorced, but chased away.
Yes.
Or beaten. Because they are not producing enough for the husband. You must produce enough for me to marry another wife, in addition to you. And she must come and help you to produce enough
for you to another one.
To get another third one. So masculinity as opposed to femininity. One is dominance, the other one is subservience. Femininity.
Yes.
That's the African femininity. Today it means being like masculine, being equal with men, which is evil. That's not doctrine we teach in the MU. With the women must, I would like you to quote this. A woman is a being for herself, in herself, and in her likeness with God.
Amen.
For in the beginning, God created the male and female. In his own
Likeness. Yeah.
So a woman is created in God's
Likeness. Yeah.
So let me use a Greek philosophy. What is a being? A being is a being in itself. That's the theory.
Yes.
Is a being in itself for itself. And what did St. Augustine say about him being? You are being, to be a being, to be human. The ultimate purpose for you being created person is to serve God and serve Him and enjoy Him forever.
For eternity.
You have heard that
Yes,
statement.
Yes, yes.
You serve God and you enjoy Him forever. And you enjoy God by serving other people, not serving Him in going to heaven. Souls don't serve.
Yeah.
You,
Yes.
with your hands,
Yes.
and with joy, if you are joy, with your mind,
Yes.
and your mouth.
Yes.
You serve God, and you enjoy Him
forever.
That's the purpose. Luther put it, the ultimate purpose of us to be human is to serve God and enjoy Him forever. Forever. You enjoy forever, not your soul, you. You enjoy Him
forever.
And therefore, let me put it that way. Then you are asking me to state what is masculinity. Masculinity, should we be masculine? Meaning masculine. You are more masculine than a woman. Should we be masculine? I've said I'm 80% feminine.
You said you're 80% feminine.
I said that.
Yes.
I always, in my books, I've said that all the time. Feminine because I'm in character, not in the body. Because I'm like my mom. I followed my mom and I followed my wife. So they are the same. They are right. So, and I follow my daughters. And you know one of them.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying, and I'm a feminist.
Yes.
And so I'm like them in their character, not in their body. In their body, I'm a man. Biologically, you know, I'm going to connect it, strip off, and you'll see I'm a man. I shaved this morning. So because I'm more I have more testosterone hormones. You know, I'm a man because I'm more than 50%, and Semenya was proven. She is almost like a man because she is 50% testosterone, 50% estrogen.
Yes.
So she looks like she's masculine like a man, and she does, and people didn't really want her to compete with women because she has more testosterone than more ordinary women. Yes. But I have seen women sometimes with some beard. Yes. Have you seen? Yes. They have more testosterone than ordinary women. There are some women with some chest. Yes, some chest hair. Beard. Yeah. Meaning that they have more testosterone and they break their voice. All those are biological attributes of masculinity. That we break our voice, we have more hair as men, and all those kind of things, testosterone driven to be dominant. Lions are testosterone driven to fight for a female, and dogs. And they? Yes, they are. Which is going to mate, mating rights. Don't you see a herd of dogs, many following a female, fighting for the right to mate? Because they are hormone driven. You can be hormone driven to hate your wife, not thinking driven, because you wouldn't like to be injured yourself. If you thought you feel pain you hate, you wouldn't hate your wife, but you hate her because you are hormonologically driven. So hormone called testosterone determines that we are men. But culture trains us. I told you about culture, nurture and culture. Yes. Culture transforms that nature of hormone into a culture where you are polite, you care, you love. Yes. You need to be trained. And the product of training is character. Yeah? Character is not nature. It's a product of good values and principles. Can you remember? Good values and principles equals good character. When you have bad values and lack of principles and everything, you are behaving like an animal, wild. Most men can be wild if they are fighting.
Yes.
We need to tame men. That's why I preach. To tame
Men.
To tame
Men.
men from being testosterone hormonologically driven, being humanly, being driven by their faith, their likeness with men, their character, more than by natural drive. Yeah. We are not driven by, we don't eat meat everywhere, we feel the smell. We wait until we have money to buy it.
Yes.
That's character.
Yes.
We don't have sex anytime we desire a woman. We wait until you go to her. When it's reciprocal.
Yes.
With someone. That's kasha.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have sex anytime you are drive driven by someone's. But when you come to sex, women are not as much driven by to have sex by her because they I told you the men have only 2,000 nerve endings for their hormones have only to have nerve endings for the genitals.
Yes.
But women have 22,000 because they give birth, they need power.
Yes.
They need to carry the baby. And therefore, before they are hormonologically driven to want sex, they have these other congregations, pain,
Yes.
carrying the baby.
It has implications.
It has implications.
Yes.
So they are more driven by thinking
Yes.
than by men.
But than by men.
They are not hormonologically driven. Yeah.
So that masculinity, I know you're very active on Twitter, and you know the kind of masculinity that's on Twitter. On Masculinity Saturday, when we are told that mama's boys are the reason there's weak men. You cannot marry someone who is more educated than you or fatter than you.
Yeah, that's all dominance.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to be dominated by a woman.
Yes.
By instruments of power, like education is an instrument of power, money is an instrument of power.
Yes.
You don't know a man who owns these things. For me, these are means of existence. They are not instruments. Tools, they are not tools of dominance. If I have money, it's a means of existence. Better standard of living, not a means of tool. But I told you, I will tell you about the boy child.
Yes.
That we have forgotten the boy child. Do you know, again, I don't know whether you are a liar or not, but it's the greatest lie in Kenya and in Africa, the greatest lie ever. Told in history, I know. It is about empowering the boy child. The boy child, how many, in parliament, what percentage of power is in the hands? How many percentage of men?
I think it's maybe 90 something. It should be.
Yeah, where the women are still not powered enough.
Yeah.
What about land? 98%. 98% of all land in Kikuyu land. 98% title deeds are with men.
Yes.
Is land not power?
Land is power.
When you say the boys are disempowered, are you saying that 20% have title deeds of women? No. It is 2% they think has disempowered men. It has castrated men.
When 2% of women have title deeds,
they have castrated.
They forget that they have the 98%.
The 2% women have is a knife and a pair of scissors for castrating men. You get me then?
Yes.
Men feel castrated. What is power in a bank? Not a savings account. The greatest power in a bank is a checking account. What you call current account, because it's a spending. Power is in expenditure. Power is not in the earning, because women cultivate coffee, money goes to men. Power is not in work, because women work for milking cows, feeding chicken, But the income goes to men.
To men.
The power to expend is the real power. So who owns 20% of bank accounts today? Go to the bank. Go inquire. You know, I'm a researcher on masculinity. I've put in all this data in those books. In these 2 books, masculinity and that one, crisis for explosive masculinity. Mark you, 20% of bank accounts in Kenya belong to men.
20?
To women.
To women, yes.
80% to men. Yes. Who owns power?
Men.
Is that differentiating boys, the boy child? Or what are you talking about? The greatest falsehood ever uttered in the world was that the boy's child is neglected. Let me ask you, not a car, vehicles. 20% of all the personal drives, that one, no power. Who owns the lorries and the tractors? All these trucks are from Mombasa to Kigali and other. Women?
No, men.
99% of that power belongs to
men.
Men. Are they disempowered? I'm trying to ask you, I will continue asking you questions of disempowerment. And you will answer me. And Koesh, you also must answer this. And everyone. Is a man disempowered if he is owning 98% of all the land? Is the boy child disempowered if he is owning 20% of all the bank accounts, checking account? Or over 98% of all the big vehicles? And over, I don't know when, housing, who owns housing? Houses in Nairobi. Who owns the big houses, tall scrapers in Nairobi center?
It's the men.
Not only, I'm talking on percentages. There was no woman when I did the research who owned a building in the CBD. You call it CBD?
Yes, CBD, yes.
There was not a single woman who owned
a
house there. They all belonged to men. Is that boy child disempowerment? I'm asking you. And I'm asking you, is the boy child disempowered by having by a woman who has no house in CBD? Who are, you said about what in parliament? Who is a minority in parliament?
Yes.
Is the minority in parliament disempowering the boy child? I'm asking you.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Yes.
Let's go to university education, degrees. 80% of all degrees are in the hands of men.
Yeah.
Is the girl child disempowered?
No.
Tell me, is he disempowered by education?
Who, the boy child or the girl child?
The boy child.
The boy child is not disempowered.
Who has the degrees?
The men have the degrees.
And how are you disempowered by not having education? Not by education. Are you empowered by education in Kenya if most of the degrees are with men? I'm asking you to tell me because you are a woman.
I'm a woman, so if
are you disempowered by men by having less degrees than men?
Am I disempowered
by having about 20% of the degrees?
I'm still behind because the men have more degrees and they have access to all of this.
And what is power in Kenya?
Power is education.
Education. Because education, you are access to jobs, to be in a cabinet.
Yes.
What is the percentage of the cabinet women?
Right now, I think there are 5.
5 women?
5 women. Yes.
Out of how many men?
Maybe 20. I think so. I don't have the latest.
1/4.
Yes.
That is empower man. And yet that's 5 women are always carrying scissors in their handbags going to castrate men.
Oh.
Yes. Ooh. When they are going to meetings.
Yes.
When Ruto calls for cabinet, she should first of all have somebody to inspect the handbags. Because the women have scissors to castrate. They have scissors to castrate his cabinet men. Yeah. So, and he might also get castrated, Ruto himself, if he doesn't, if allows women to come with the handbags. You get me?
I get you.
My wife used to be a consultant for the United Bible, business management consultant for the whole of Africa. And she used to go and fight that. Almost all the chairmen of the Bible societies are men.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the directors, the executives. When she's good to examine, because the United Bible Society provided the African Bible Society with the money, and therefore she used to go and examine the management principles and teach them. And I told him, don't leave your scissors. Because
don't leave your scissors
because every office you are going to say you are going to fight men. And because you know what men are, they think they have power because they are women, not because they have it. They are men, and they wonder what this woman coming to do. Please, don't forget to carry your...
Don't forget to carry your scissors.
And I tell you, even you.
I will not forget to carry my scissors. So, as we are winding up, Reverend, because...
You see, let's mean that when you ask about gender, my main being, I'm not telling women to become equal with men.
Yes.
I'm telling women to be women.
Yes.
Because equal with men means being oppressors also.
Yes.
Being deprivers also. Being inequalizers. Because that's what defines majority of men in terms of land. Yes. I'm not asking you to have land so that you may deprive women. Yes. Or you may deprive men. I'm asking you to have land because you need it. You need it, yes. You get me? Yeah. I'm asking you to have vehicles and bank accounts and everything because you are human. You need it. Yes. So fight for freedom. Not for... fight for freedom. Equality meaning if man is free, you are also free. Yes. If man owns vehicles, you also can own. That's equality. Not to become the same vehicles as men. Yes. Or to have the same money as men. But I'm asking you to fight to be you. A human being, created in God's likeness. You get me? I get you. That's what you should be, human, the way God was creating you. Jesus came to redeem us, to restore us to original dignity and humanity, which is likeness with God. You get me? I get you. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not telling you to be like me, but I want to dislike it. It's a good thing. I am aware of the time and I've kept you here for long, Reverend, but I'm so grateful and honored and it's life-giving to have this conversation. Yeah. As we are winding up, you are a president of the Third World People's Coalition. I used to be. You used to be the president of the 70s. Yes. Yeah. And for me, I work at the intersection of faith and activism. And for me, I don't see it as a difference, but there are people who see that as antagonistic. Can pastors and activists, human rights defenders work together? Is it difficult? You're saying what? Pastors, activists, freedom fighters. Why are you segregating pastors? Yes. They're not politicians, they're not farmers. Yes, but most of the times the problem... Why are you picking up that profession? Because for most times when I've been in spaces where we are doing activism and you're a pastor, it is seen as... I was sacked by the church. Yes. For 2 years I was defrauded. Yes. I went to where? To the streets. Yes. That's why we met with all the Akina, William Tunga, Akina Kepta, Akina Cyprian. Yes. That's why I met people, not pastors. Yes. And I worked with them better than I would have worked. The only pastors I worked with are very few. I can number them. Gitari, Okuru, Muge, and who else? Gitari, Okuru. The Kaiser? Did you work with Kaiser? No, I worked with the... Nzimbi? Mwana Nzeki. Yeah, Nzimbi, Mwana Nzeki. But I'm saying that I worked with those ministers. I was one of them, so I worked with myself. Yes. A few ministers. Who are the majority of the people I worked with? The activists, the human rights defenders. The human rights defenders? Yes. These to me were the real kasisi. They are the real prophets. Yes. According to God's commissioning. Yes. They did they did God's mandate. Yes. Yeah. So I was not looking for a person called pastor. In fact, the word pastor is used only ones in the New Testament. It's not a biblical word. Did you know that? In Ephesians chapter, I think, 4 or 5, where it says some are evangelists, others pastors, other ministers,
teachers,
teachers. You know that?
Yes, yes.
That's the only way the word pastor is mentioned.
Yeah.
The word shepherd is the biblical word for Jesus was a good shepherd, not a good pastor. Shepherd means person who takes care of. A feed, takes the flock to water, to feed, to the green pastures. But a pastor is the one who cuts grass and throws the. He's not the one who takes them to feed themselves.
He's not part of the process. He's just a feeder.
But that's what the pastor is, zero grazing. But the word in the Bible, which I am, episcopos. Do you know what that?
Episcopal?
Episcopos. The word for Greek, epis means or the one who Kopos means goats and sheep. Episcopos, the one who looked after goats and sheep. That's why so bishop is the one which is biblical for calling a minister, but we used to call it for a hierarchy, which is corruption. But now let me move with that. I like being a shepherd. Jesus is the good shepherd. A good shepherd looks after his sheep, and he is not like a thief who comes through the ones I was describing who brings politician, who bring
they come through the fence
and through the back door.
Yes.
These are the thieves. Jesus called them. In fact, I'm very polite and very kind. Jesus was not polite to many of the people you call pastors.
Yeah.
He called them thieves.
Viles.
He called the thieves.
Brood of vipers.
Brood of vipers and thieves.
yes.
Because they come to steal,
kill, and
not
destroy.
to feed.
Yeah.
And Ezekiel chapter, is it 18? He said, he condemns the pastors or the shepherds who eat the food, who eat the goats and the sheep, and the skin, they take the skins and eat the meat, but they don't look after them.
Yes.
They only select the fat one. Is that what Ezekiel does?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of pastor. These are the kind of pastor. We don't have, anyway, my church doesn't use the word pastor, it uses the word minister, servant.
Yeah.
You know, servant, doulos, meaning slave or servant. Okay, in the Greek. You know, I did the Greek.
Okay.
And I did the Hebrew, so I can use a lot of words. Hebrew. I can quote Hebrew for you.
Oh.
Genesis chapter 1 to almost 23, I can quote it.
In Hebrew?
Yeah. I can quote it, Bereshit, Bera Elohim, Hamayim, Hamayim. You know, that's Hebrew. In the beginning, God created the heavens. I can quote for you.
Okay.
Because I used to, I not pass exams. I crammed the memorization.
Yes.
So that anytime I see in a paper, I know what to answer.
You know what to answer for the exam.
For the exam. That's how I made it easy for me so that I can have time to go to the fellowship. I came home to memorize.
So that you're able to do that. So that you're able to pass the exams and also fellowship.
Yes. The same thing with the Greek, I memorize. In order to keep it in the head. So that when a teacher brings the paper, I see.
This I know.
This John 3:16 or anything.
Yes.
You know, and I just put it, repeat. And I think the teacher thinks I'm very clever.
but you have memorized.
But I have memorized.
But memorizing is clever.
That's what one of Merleau-Ponty, not Jean Merleau-Ponty, I think he's the one who said that. Keeping things in memory, you can retrieve them. We were talking. You can, much of the things are in memory. You can memory. He says that memorization is not in memory. We used to hate it, but it's not bad.
It's good.
It's good because you can use it anytime
it comes into your brain.
Yeah.
Reverend, thank you so very much. I think a lot of us, and I will speak on my behalf, I will take this responsibility to speak and honor you, especially for for the time that you have served, and you have served us as a church, as the Kenyan church globally. And I know a lot of my friends who are activists, who are Christians, who sometimes have felt very dismayed by how the church responds to what is going on. Yet when they read scripture, we see that Jesus was in the trenches with people. Is there something you would like to encourage us, all of those and activists who feel like working with the church is a lost cause, Christians who feel like being in activism is evil? Is there something you would like to tell us?
Yeah. Don't be heroes. Don't be famous.
Yes.
Don't be rich. Don't be powerful. Love one another. That's equality.
Yes.
Love one
another.
Be selfless.
Yes.
Heroism consonant with the
selflessness.
Selflessness.
Yes.
When people meet me and call me big names like Bishop Njoya, I used to say, don't call me that. And my wife told me, no, that's not humility. Let people call you what they
want. And especially for me, if I called you by my first name, by your first name, my relatives would.
Of course.
Yes.
My wife told me, to protest.
Yes.
So let me put it this way. I tell all ministers not to be impressed by titles, by money,
yes,
by power, but to impress people with the word of God. Not to be not themselves be highlighted and lifted up, but lift the Jesus Christ as God lifted him up, as we lifted him up, and raised him from the dead, lift him, and then he will lift you up. He will lift in turn.
He'll lift you up.
He will lift you up.
Yeah.
So I will tell you them, when to lift Jesus Christ is not it's spiritual, but it's also social. Make people see you are right, so that they may glorify your God who is in heaven, not in you be glorified.
Yes.
That's what I call humility. For me, I'm not naturally humble, so I pray to be humble. So my prayer is, God, make me humble. But because I know I'm not, I have reasons to be proud.
Yes.
Yes, and again, you are calling this, you are asking Mark. Let me, Carol.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much. You have impressed me.
Thank you.
By the way you have come, and your diligence, your intelligence, you really have impressed me.
Thank you very much.
You are the most intelligent interviewer for me this year.
Oh, that is a high
yeah, because
honor.
You are asking me questions that are relevant to what I was doing. That's why I'm calling you that, because you are becoming you are going to extend my ministry by the questions you have been asking.
Yes.
So I'm not praising you, I'm praising
yourself
for getting that opportunity.
Yes.
To talk to a lady like you.
Thank you very
much.
And thank you.
Yes. I feel sorry I did not know you before today. But that's enough.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm very happy also, my daughter. She's coming to visit us here.
Yes.
Today
she's on her way.
This is my home.
Okay.
This house here.
All right.
I left her. She said she was coming to see us.
Okay.
So, but don't mind, she knows.
Yes.
I am public.
Yes. Yes.
Public means people.
Yes.
You know the word public means people.
Okay.
I am people. In fact,
we the people. You have a book.
The people.
Yes, you have a book. We the people.
No, for me, finally, I don't breathe oxygen.
What do you breathe?
I don't breathe air. I breathe people. They are my oxygen. You understand?
Yeah, you understand.
They are they energize me. So I've been able to breathe the three of you.
Thank you.
So I feel very powerful.
Asante sana.
Yes.
Asante sana.
Yes.
It's an honor. And there's a few books that you've written. Maybe you can share a bit
can
about.
you bring this one? I want to show
Which one?
The most written. Not the other one. Or even those one, even that one. I can say that this book shows the foundations of Kenya.
You can show this one.
This is the foundations of Kenya. The foundations of the Church of Kenya are three. The fourth one is what you call that 80%. You said 85%?
Christian.
So the foundation of the church, I don't want to praise the church as founded itself. So the foundations of Kenya are three: agriculture, education, and medicine.
Okay.
All these things were started by the church. And when you talk about human identity and human integrity and Kenya Constitution, you are talking about how you bring up a nation, Kenya, from a market into a nation where people have access to means of existence, to food, education, and medicine when they need them. And this book is trying to settle, the way it is. It's trying to settle who we are. The treatise is our contract with God. I would think you have read from what we were saying.
Yes.
It's our covenant with God.
Yeah.
So this book is trying to tell you that the Kenya Constitution is our covenant
with the people.
Our contract with God. Our
yes.
Constitution means contract, the covenant.
Yes.
The Holy Covenant. So I do believe that this book can help Kenyans very, very much to be themselves and who they are and to appreciate that they are there as God's representatives.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And all prophets are God's representatives. You should be calling them pastors. They should be God's representatives, not to represent themselves or their church. I don't represent PCA, but the PCA is a platform in which I represent God. It's a forum. It's giving me opportunity to represent God as effectively as possible, more than I would have done on my own. Yeah. That's why I need fellowship. With the church and the media. In fact, sometimes the church doesn't do for me as much as the media does. Yes. So I like it very much. You can buy this. Yeah. It is 3,000. It's new, and it's now. It will be in the market soon. Yes. And if you know, before this, I wrote this. Yes. As big a book. Yes. This is 2,500 or 3,000. It is this should be more expensive than this, but because mainly the research and other things that is subsidized by HIVOS. Yes. You know HIVOS? HIVOS, I know HIVOS. We did a project with them on faith and feminism. Okay. Yes. They also used to fund me, especially for writing this book. Okay. And they paid for part of it, and therefore it's simple and. It is actually, let me summarize. It says the divinity of the creatures means that when you mutilate a woman, you are mutilating God. Because a woman was created in the likeness of God. God. Yeah. God did not create a woman create a man looking and seeing him from the toe to the hair. Looking at the man. And now when he started creating a woman, he looks the other way not to see the clitoris. I'm curious to hear about what you think, because especially when we are talking about the creation of woman, is that the woman was created as a subservient to man? That's a tradition. that's utumwa. You say utamaduni
mkosa mila
ni mtumwa.
Yes.
Mila ndio utumwa. Yes. Utamaduni ni
utumwa.
Mila ni
utumwa.
It mutilates women. But so ndio utumwa.
Yeah.
If you want to follow your mila, so that you go back to the mukaro, you'll be mutilated. You'll be mutilated. Yes. So this is the book about how women, they are simply equal with men. They are created in God's own
image,
likeness. In God's own
image and likeness.
Everything.
Yes.
There's nothing about them that is not in God's likeness.
Yeah.
So you should not subtract even a truth. Yeah. Or even an organ or a heart.
Yes.
Because they all represent the likeness with
God.
With God.
Okay.
Okay. These are research books. Not this one is the oldest one. The Crisis of Explosive Masculinity. This is a research on many tribes. It has data. You can see in it even pictures of people like in Jorijeke. You can see pictures of me demonstrating with women for equality of men and women in the streets in Nairobi. And okay, all this book will show you that I love God and I am saved. Because I put a lot of time, effort, nights and day to compile all this information. And you can see the people in it, very many forums. The crisis of explosive masculinity, meaning that masculinity is explosive. If it can be threatened, out of 98, 100 title deeds, if two
get title deeds, then it suddenly is a problem.
And the men now are complaining they are sidelined, they are oppressed. It's not explosive.
It is.
Because it means they are fighting women, even now.
Yeah.
And they are fighting for land. If they have about less than 20% in parliament, and they are still saying they are being threatened by women, they are fighting women for power.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So there is nothing like what you call the enfranchisement or boy child, this kind. That is a tool for domination. To keep the balance, to keep the imbalance between gender. Because that's very explosive. Very explosive because men won't live in houses where women are paying rent because they are not, what I told you, the definition of man, owner, provider, and a protector.
Yes.
The one who pays the rent is the one who is owner, protector, and provider. So a woman better give the money to pay. To pay the rent. So that you don't castrate him. Otherwise, if you pay, you are castrating him. You're castrating him. Yes. And this one, the same thing. If you look at, you can see data tribe by tribe. Written. Is this one an updated version of the? Yeah, okay. This is a continuation of research on this. It's a continuation. Did you say masculinity? How men do themselves? They have power, and yet they feel the power is being taken away by men. By women. By women, yes. But women will not take it for the next 100 years. It will be another 100 years before men and women in Central Province, let's say, own equal number of title deeds for land. Oh. Do you know that? Because inheritance, even though the law say boy and girl inherit, inheritance is still passed on to boys. That's why it's reducive. Yes. We reduce ourselves of power, and yet you feel when that power is touched, we feel pares. Yes. When a woman is wearing pants, we feel as if we are naked. Yes. Okay? Yes. All right. So, and she has an organization like yours. We think she's intruding in our territory. Yes. How much we do ourselves, we own everything, and we don't. Yeah. Okay. Then this one, the constitutional making. Yes. The struggle for the new Kenya. Yes. how to transform the Kenya from Britain gave Kenyatta and other dictators, or not only Britain, even France and others, what you call neo-colonialism. They gave African dictators independence, and they wrote their constitution. They didn't write, African didn't write. We even didn't hold a referendum to accept the Kenya constitution.
Yes,
the original
the one that was brought.
Was written by Mr. Mackenzie of Manchester University, presented and tabled at the Lancaster Constitution for us. It was supposed to guarantee Britain, Kenya as a British overseas market. I've written that here. Yes,
you have.
But we liberated Kenya from being a British overseas market by writing this in the new constitution in 2010.
2010, yes.
So I'm a liberator, if you want to call liberation. But I don't want to call myself that because it's too big.
Yes.
I want to say that I struggled for transformation and change of Kenya from a market, British overseas market, into a nation.
Yes.
And even Kenyatta had noticed it. He called it nation building. Do you know that?
Yeah.
His philosophy was nation
building.
To build a nation. But he was building. They were building property, but not the nation.
And for themselves.
And for themselves.
Yes.
So now we are building the nation. We are transforming market into nation.
Yes, that's a clarion call in that book.
You have seen it?
Yes, I remember because I bought this copy, I think, with my internship salary because I needed to have that copy for myself.
Yes, it is a transformative book.
It is an amazing book, yes.
It's amazing because it's written in an autobiographical manner.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I really enjoyed reading it. Thank you for writing it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes. I see it is written because I can see.
You can see. It is spent and there's bookmarks and there's conversations.
Oh yes.
Because I speak with my books when I write.
I've said it has. I was invited to. I go to universities in Great Britain and found they have read it.
Yes.
More than I have done.
And I think I gave
more than Kenyans.
Yes.
I go to US to various universities and I find they have read it more than Kenyans.
Yeah.
I don't know why Kenyans don't read our material. You know, the last time I went and spoke, when I spoke to the House of Congress and Nation joined.
Yes.
I told them I'm very, very happy to come back here. Because you brought slaves here by ship to come and do your cotton, to do your sugarcane chambers, to do to do labor for you. But they were doing it with the hands. Now I'm coming as a slave to do with your mind. With my mind.
You're still a slave.
Because I said, what I'm telling you, I'm being beaten in Kenya not to hear it. I'm being chopped.
Yeah.
Broken my hand and being killed by Kenyans because they don't want my labor, my brain labor. Yet this book is and others are my brain, labor on my brain, and Kenyans don't want it. And it's true. These books are read more overseas than in Kenya.
And one of the things we do is we host a book study every Tuesday, and today we have one. And I offered a book to you that we are doing by Reverend William Baba about how the Black church in America was able to convene, learning about that. And I'm looking forward to when we will read one of these books.
Okay, I'm saying this 3,000.
Yes.
Because I know you are going to push it forward.
Yes.
I can give you for 2,000.
Okay.
Today.
All right.
Yeah.
I will get one.
You'll get one.
Yes.
Even if you don't have the money here, you can send later.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. We will get this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll give you a different number than the one
the one you
have
to
send the money.
Sawa.
Because I know you are going to push it a little bit.
Yes. I will read it and we will read together in community. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything from this conversation that you wanted to say that we've not spoken about? Is there something that you feel led to say?
It's up to you. Did you get what you wanted when you came?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for for this conversation, for giving us your time and spending the day with us. We really appreciate it.
And I thank you, Joseph and Koech, for choosing this place.
Yes.
And for coming here, and even the way you have chosen this as the background.
Yeah.
My library.
Yes.
Shows that I'm a scholar.
You are.
Huh?
Yes.
Would you deny?
No, we don't deny it. You are. And also in your writing, you know, leaders read and leaders read and readers lead as well. You can.
Yeah, if I don't read actually daily, I would write daily.
Yes.
The more you read, the more
you write.
You write.
Yeah.
You digest and you vomit on a book.
Yes. All right. Sawa. Thank you to all of us. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for honoring us with your time. And as always, please keep doing justice. See you in the next episode. Kwaherini.